For me personally, I like the idea of different operating systems converging into one, which can then be used on a laptop, desktop, server, mobile device, watch, toaster, fridge, TV, or car, or whatever. So far, the only operating system that is able to do that is Linux. Linux is the de facto operating system for servers and enjoys an enthusiast and pro level status on desktops and laptops, and sort of a fringe super enthusiast tinkerer choice for mobile devices. But you're not here to hear about Linux. I think Apple is going to be releasing a toolkit that will allow developers to port their macOS apps to iPad OS. The biggest clue that that'll happen is, of course, the new iPad Pro running the M1 chip, which is the same chip that is on all new Macs, the MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, Mac Mini, and iMac. iOS apps can already run on Macs now, and of course, there is nothing stopping Apple from doing things the other way. Will they actually do it? Well, not directly, but they will make it easier for developers to port their macOS apps to iPad OS, as long as the iPad has an M1 chip. Not only that, I think Apple will release a version of Final Cut Pro that will run on the new iPad Pro to showcase what can be done to improve the workflow with a combination of iPad Pro and a Mac. Also, I think there will only be one license for Final Cut Pro. So if you already have a Final Cut Pro on your Mac, then you will automatically get one for the iPad Pro for free. There will only be one caveat to running macOS apps on iPad OS. It will only run on the iPad Pros that have the M chip. This is not only going to be for this generation of iPads, I think this is going to be for all iPads going forward. There will be iPads with the A chips, which will only run iPad OS apps, and then iPad Pro with M chip, which will allow for some macOS apps to run on the iPad Pro, but only if the developer chooses to develop for it. So this will be kind of like how iOS apps now run on Macs. The only difference is that Mac apps will not suddenly just start working on the new iPad Pro. Apple's new development toolkit will make it easier for developers to port their apps to the iPad Pro. I usually don't do these kind of things, but I think what Apple is doing is significant and slightly scary at the same time, and I'm very much looking forward to WWDC 21.